Hello, and welcome to QuickBooks in the Real World, where you too can encourage your QuickBooks software to sing and dance. I'm Marie Gibson with Gibson & Associates, and I'm here to really share with you how QuickBooks can work for you in the real world. Let's get her done. Let's make it quick. Let's make it easy. Let's make it efficient. And you know what? At the end of the day, your reports are correct. They're spot on. Stop wasting time. Stop fiddling. Stop becoming frustrated. Just let's do it. Let's see how the tools are actually used. So I'm going to share my screen with you today. We're actually going to be covering sales tax, and then I'll have an additional little module on use tax. For this video, I am going to use just my desktop software. And so if you're using QuickBooks Online software, you might want to look for the other video, which will be a duplicate of this video, only using different software. And the concepts are the same, and you've heard me say it again and again, that visually the softwares are different. Functionally, they're very, very similar, and you will be pleased with the sales tax feature in both the desktop and the online versions. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to zero in on here right now. Let's move this little guy out of there, and you'll see that I'm here on my home page of my desktop software. And as I'm looking through this, I want to recognize that sales tax, when I collect it, I'm actually collecting it on items that I sell. Oftentimes, and especially in my state, we only collect sales tax from the customers on tangible goods, things you can touch. So if something is a service or a service type of activity that you sell, then you may or may not need to collect sales tax. In our state, you do not. And I say that because it becomes quite a fine line. Some states, if you sell memberships, they become sales taxable. Some states, if you sell a business or business assets as a lump sum, that becomes a sales tax trigger. So you just have to be very, very clear on what is taxable in your state and what is not. And so let's take a look here. We would be creating an invoice, right, for a customer. And let's just say that we're going to come in here and sell Adam's Candy Store some of these little items. And so we have one nice pump at $75. And look at on the right-hand side. It is indeed taxable. And then I have some sprinkler pipes, and let's say I have 7 or 8 of those, right? They're $275 each. And again, this taxable. There is a little drop-down diamond, a little triangle. You can select taxable sales, non-taxable labor, non-taxable sales. No, this is taxable, so we're collecting from the customer. And then our soil, let's say we sold 20 bags of soil. At $675, that's $135 taxable. At the bottom of this invoice, you can see that right now my tax is set for County San Thomas. I'm in my my sample company. This is Larry's Landscaping. And of course, I don't ever disclose confidentiality by using my own client files for these demonstrations. But we're not in San Thomas. We're not San Domingo. We'd actually like to add a new sales tax item. And you can see that the little pop-up window comes here, sales tax item. And let's call that Washoe County sales tax. I live in Nevada, and Washoe County is one of the 17 counties, each of which we have to collect tax for if we do business if we sell something in that particular county. And let's say it's 8.265%. And the tax agency is Nevada Department of Taxation. So I just did a quick ad, or I did an ad and the name didn't pop up, so I need to quick add that. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So now my Washoe County at 8.265, the amount of tax has changed. So let's go ahead and save new. And it says, do you want to make this permanent and reflect in all your past and future transactions? Sure, let's run with it. maybe not. Maybe you didn't want to do that, right? But for this sample, what the heck? And so here's Christina, and Christina is going to buy some gardening. This is a service. And let's say we have 4 weeks of gardening and they're $50 a piece. There is no tax on the labor in this particular state, in our county or in our state. Let's say that we also purchase some lighting. And this is maybe some special customized lighting, let's say 5 of them, and they were $500 a piece. And you can see that that's also a taxable item. And so now my sales tax has gone up tremendously. I need to make sure that I'm very, very careful. And I get Washoe County selected for 8.265. And let's do one more. Yes, thank you very much. And let's say Edward. Oops, these are customers that actually have some billable items. Remember in our previous modules, we learned how if I select it billable to a customer, it'll come up when I invoice them. That's exactly what we're seeing there, which is kind of nice, right? It's like, okay, that worked out exactly what I wanted. And let's say 10 yards of concrete. I have no idea how much a yard of concrete is, but let's say it's $5 a yard. So some of you are going to chuckle and say, oh my gosh, she's giving it away. Or you're going to be saying, oh my gosh, she's getting a fortune for that. Let's say that we're going to sell a fish pond to go with that. And let's say our fish pond was $200, again, taxable. And the labor to do that installation, let's say 100 hours at $35. So there's another invoice. And again, I want to make sure that Washoe County is selected. And you can see that I'm having to change each time and remember each time. So there's and I'm going to save and close. And to add the form to the list of messages, thank you very much. What it's asking is that this is going to be emailed up here. See this little email later. I don't really want to email later. I just wanted it saved and closed. And under edit preferences, we're going to change the default for sales tax. So edit preferences, remember, has all of these little buttons, and each button has multiple tabs. So you'll love going through that. But let's say the most common type, the default, is going to be the Washoe County sales tax. Thank you very much. Now, next time when I bring up my invoicing, it'll absolutely bring up Washoe County first. So when I have processed those invoices, I just ran through 3 of them. We know from previous modules that our income for the services is going to show up here on our profit and loss report, right? So now if we were hunting for the sales tax, is that sales tax income? And then it's going to become a sales tax expense. Where are those little creatures hiding in our reports, right? What happens is our balance sheet is our best friend. Our balance sheet, and it's not an asset, those are little liabilities, and they become sales tax payables right here, sales tax payables. And in the big scheme of things, I owe that sales tax. So just remember that the sales tax is not income to you, nor is it an expense when you pay it. You're required to collect it and required to send it to your state, but it's neither income nor expense. It's okay, we'll hold on to it. It's a liability. We're holding, and now we're going to pay for that. And so if we look at our reports, you'll see I'm actually going to come, let me take you to where you find this. You go to your home. It's under Manage Sales Tax. When you click that Manage Sales Tax button, I have some preferences, again, that I have direct access to this area. It's really nice. Again, they've thought of just about everything, haven't they? And I have a sales tax liability report and a sales tax revenue report. And these help you fill out the forms that your state offers, right? So in this case, let's do this month. I change it to December. I see that I have Washoe County sales tax. I'm sorry, I have Washoe County, under Washoe County, I have $29.79 taxable sales, $3,700 in services, which are non-taxable. And this is my total for Washoe County. And oftentimes the form, and in our case, the form does ask you to put your gross sales, how much is non-taxable, and what that leaves the taxable. So this is your sales revenue. And then in addition to that, if we're looking at this manage sales tax, that was the revenue summary form. This is the sales tax liability form. And again, I've enlarged it for us. Whoops. Here we can see that in this case, my Washoe County sales tax, I had total sales, non-taxable, taxable sales, my tax rate, that's the new tax rate that we just added, my tax that's collected, and that's what's actually payable. So the system is meant to track this for you and make it easy. It does a phenomenally nice job. So if I go back to manage sales tax, there's a button here. Sometimes it's overlooked. It's called pay sales tax. So one of the things that you will want to avoid is if we're here, there is no dotted line from here to here. You've heard me say that again before, previously, right? So there is no button from here to here. There's no way that we jump to write a check or process an EF online payment or an ACH to just go ahead and pay that. No, we need to use the button. And so when we use that button, we pay the sales tax and we can say what our check date is and show sales tax throughout which month. And then I can actually go grab, if I am here, I should be able to see all sales tax through this time is Washoe County is $246.24. And then we're allowed to adjust. And we don't adjust by a lot, but we get to reduce our sales tax to 46.24 times, and I believe it's 0.0145%. We'll pretend it is. So I'm actually able to reduce my sales tax by $3.57, which actually becomes a little type of a revenue account, right? And so I'd say, thank you very much. And let's see, it wants an adjustment account right here. So it's kind of a weird wording, general journal transactions. We're not making a general journal transaction. Well, we are. QuickBooks is, you just don't recognize it as such. And so the adjustment account is a tiny bit, a little bit of miscellaneous income. Some people do create a special category called sales tax adjustment income. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's just miscellaneous income. We'll slide it down at the bottom and I say, okay. And it says, because you made a sales tax adjustment, the amount paid to each vendor has now been reset. And you can see that what just went on behind the scenes there. So that's sales tax in QuickBooks Desktop. You will absolutely love it. You should use it. You should make it become your best friend and help it track those sales tax revenues. Well, I guess that's what they're called, sales tax revenues, right? That come into your company, even though they're not revenues to you and they're not considered expenses going out. They're just a liability that you're collecting, and then you need to turn around and remit those to the state. So thank you very much for watching this module, and our next module will be a little bit on use tax. Join me then.